Good afternoon. On the injury front, we get three of our starters that are close, and we'll see how the week of practice goes. Foster Sorrell was able to move around, didn't practice last night, but went through some drills, and we'll see how he is today. Dylan Powell as well. He was able to get into practice a little bit for the first time in a couple of weeks. Both those guys, we'll see how they're doing, and not only if they're just healthy enough, but if they can go out there and perform. The guys that have stepped in have done admirably. So we'll see who's the most fit to go in there and play on the offensive line this week. So that'll be probably won't be a Friday decision, probably be a Wednesday or Thursday decision once we see what these guys can do. Andrew Pritz kind of on that same playing a little bit. Thankfully, the injury wasn't as bad as we initially had feared. But we'll see. We have to see how he's able to move around the next couple of days, see if he's able to go back out there and play for us. Jacob Mango-Farrar will be out most likely again this week. And I don't anticipate any of those other guys that have been out being ready. We're hoping Stuart Head, Ethan Bonner, and Trajon Butler sometime in the next few weeks. One or more of those guys may start being able to come back and work into practice. Not sure that's going to be this week, most likely the following week.
On those lines, is Trevor further away than that group you just mentioned?
Trevor Spates? Yes. He's working his way back, but he'll be a while.
Upon review of the game, wondering if anything stood out to you that wasn't obvious live, and maybe in terms of causes of certain things that weren't going your guys' way, but also things that went your way that.
Well, unlike usually it kind of takes going back and looking at the film to kind of really diagnose. This one's pretty easy. Explosive plays. They got him. We didn't. I told the team, to talk about being uncharacteristic for us and how we play and what we do. In 3 games, we've given up 18 plays of 20 yards or more. That's not us. It's unacceptable. We've missed tackles. We've missed alignments. We've let receivers run free, and especially these past 2 games at SC and Central Florida, you've got wide receivers that can really run, and we're just letting them run. So we need to be on top. We need to play top-down defense. If we're going to press, we need to press and be physical with the guys. It's what we did all the way through training camp, what we've done here over the years, and 2 games with 2 bad games in a row. Offensively, we've made 10 explosive plays, 10 20-yard plays in 3 games, and I think we're built to be better than that, both in the run and the pass. We've done a great job breaking tackles, which is kind of at an all-time high for us after 3 games. Between our running backs and our receivers and run after catch, I think is going really well. We've missed a lot of throws where the throw was a little bit wide or a little bit short, or we didn't quite get the release that we're looking for. We've dropped 3 balls in 3 games. So that's on us as coaches to set up the parameters of practice so those things can get better, we can improve. Because I believe we've got dynamic playmakers on the outside, including our tight end. That we have to give them chances to make plays. I'll throw this in. I know it's been said multiple times now, all the way through last year to this year, about Stanford's identity as a run-first team. We're trying to win football games, and we believe we're going to do whatever it takes to win those games. I like where we're in our running game. I think we're doing better. The problem in the last 2 games is we've been down multiple scores, and we've had to throw the ball to come back. Now, at the same time, even when the score's tight, I want to be balanced. I want to run the ball. I want to throw the ball on first and second down. I want to go back and forth, use our play action, all the things core things that we've done for years here. So I'm not playing to percentages. We're playing to win games.
As far as the big plays given up on defense, and talking about receivers doing the damage against you guys, what does that competition look like in practice right now for your defensive backs? And are there any guys that may be able to push onto
Well, I think you saw that this past game. Caillou Kelly coming in and playing a significant portion. He's long, he's fast, he's young, he's inexperienced, but he goes hard and he learns very quickly. Obi Ebo made some nice plays. So those guys will be in the mix. We saw Jonathan McGill come in at safety and make some plays in special teams, make some plays on defense. So those are two younger guys that are mixing in there, and not just to push the other guys, but because they have a skill set. And what we do with all of our young guys, we try not to just throw them to the wolves. We try to keep them in a certain mode and make sure they know what they're doing, and give them an opportunity to go out there and play fast and use their athletic ability.
Based on the standard that he set for himself last year, it seems like Paulson's struggled a little bit against two very good receivers the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, I don't know if it's called struggling or just playing against really good receivers. And that's the hard part for, the corner. It's a little like the offensive lineman. If you keep the guy covered the whole game, they don't say your name, you must be doing a pretty good job. But if you give up 2 plays, which is what Paulson gave up, 2 plays, now you have a bad game. So 2 plays out of 60 were not good. But he's got a standard that he holds himself to. It's not about us holding him to a standard. He's got a standard he holds himself to. And, he got beat by a guy that plays really well. And he also made a couple plays. So when you play against really good competition, it's going to be some back and forth. Big thing for us is we don't want those plays that we give up to be touchdowns. Partially positioning by the corners, partially helped by the safeties. If somebody makes a big play, great. We got to get them on the ground so we can come back and get a stop. And you saw that happen in the second half. Second half, we got 2 stops in the red zone that we didn't get in the first half because we let the guys score. If you let them score from a long ways away, there's nothing you can do. But if you get them on the ground, now you get a chance to force them to kick a field goal. They might miss a field goal, or they go for them 4th down and you stop them. And we were able to get some stops in the second half that we didn't get in the first half. So, there's no pats on the back for, winning a half. People try to say it was great. We played so much better in the second half. Well, yeah, we did, but we're so far behind that it didn't matter. The idea, though, is to play like that the entire game. You play against good teams like we will this week, or he's going to make some plays. We got an outstanding quarterback. He's got weapons all around him. They're going to make some plays. Our job is to keep them out of the end zone, not let them get behind us, not see the ball go over our heads. If they make a play, great. Get them on the ground, line up and play defense again. And on the offensive side, we have to take advantage of our opportunities. We had a couple of guys open and things didn't happen, or we got a couple good matchups and we didn't get the release, et cetera. So it's about limiting the other team's explosive plays and big play touchdowns, and making sure that we make our own explosive plays and have some big play touchdowns.
Any major similarities or differences between UCF's offensive scheme and Oregon and the things they like to do?
A little bit. You see some Chip Kelly factor and what was left at Oregon. Some things that they've held over. Granted, it is a new scheme. There's a lot of things, but there's a little bit of similarity, and you see a little bit of what Scott Frost left at UCF. Not exactly the same, but you see a little bit of crossover. I do believe you have to approach them differently because they have different coordinators. They have different backgrounds. And there's a little bit of carryover, but it's not wholesale.
Talking about Oregon's quarterback play, from the perspective of your defense, it's been 2 weeks of struggling to make plays on the quarterback, the defensive front seven. What have you kind of seen in terms of diagnosing the issues, and is it a matter of trying to rotate in different guys, or have to be more aggressive, anything along those lines?
Sometimes our guys have to beat their guys, right? Whether you rush 4 or you rush 3 or you rush 5, still have to beat somebody. And I'll say this past week, losing Jovan so early, it was really difficult. Jovan's our leader in that room. He's been very productive. He's made a lot of high energy plays. And I will say this about that room. I think those guys played better this week Michael Williams played better. I thought he played well the first 2 weeks. He played better this game. You saw two of our guys that haven't played a lot, and Dalen Wade Perry and Tomas Schaffer come in and play hard, knowing that we're going to miss a guy that they have to play more snaps and they have to play better. So I would say this game, more than the previous two, we made the quarterback move. We didn't get him on the ground as often as we should have, but we made him move. We pressured him. We hit him a couple times, and that's an improvement. Bottom line for me though is we got to get him on the ground. If a guy holds the ball, we got to sack him. Casey's given us good edge pressure, but I think he's the only guy that's given us any edge pressure. So we need more pressure on the quarterback, no matter how many guys we send.
Regarding the missed opportunities on the offense, how much would you chalk that up to the time that KJ missed in training camp, being able to establish that both the offense and the receivers, and then the shuffling along the offensive line that's happened during the season?
I would say that's minimal. It's got to be a factor when the quarterback pretty much doesn't throw most of the summer and misses a good chunk of training camp. But the guys have been practicing really well together. It's about connecting. And, I talked to the guys yesterday. We went through a period with KJ and JJ 2 years ago, and Colby, where they weren't completely on the same page. We kind of just barely missed. So we developed a little bit of a strategy this week to really focus on those opportunities. He hasn't played a lot of games with Simi. Hasn't had a chance to practice much with Osiris. We missed Connor down the sideline. Just a little bit of connection, but it was one that we connected with Connor the week before. So all those things, quarterback and receiver timing, getting a feel for each other. It takes time and it takes repetition, and we want to be more conscious of those in practice, just to make sure we have the opportunity to hit those. And you never know when those opportunities are going to come up. Teams aren't going to give you 10 chances to hit the deep ball. You're going to get one or two, 3 if you're lucky, and you got to hit a high percentage of those. But I will say this: I think our intermediate passing game has been really good. Outside of that one late high throw that we missed Michael on, I thought we've been very good running our routes, catching the ball, run after catch. And that needs to continue as we also need to hit the deeper balls with a higher percentage.
What have you seen from Michael Wilson so far this season?
Mike's a machine. Every single day, you get the same effort, same attention to detail. Never slows down. And as one of those, we have to be cautious with him because he'll never come out of the game if you don't make him come out of the game. So I think we have a good rotation just to get him off the field enough. And really for kind of our top 3 guys right now, I think we have a really good system for that. I think Coach Kennedy's done a great job orchestrating those guys. But between Mike and Connor and Colby Parkinson with Morgan Turner, really knowing that these guys, if we don't take them out, they'll try to play 70 plays. And that's a lot for a game and go through playing a 12-game plus season. But specifically Mike is the same guy every single day, operates with a high level of passion and attention to detail.
Given what Austin Jones showed last week, is there a chance you may factor him a little bit more in the game plan kind of as things progress?
Absolutely. I think he's right along with what we've done with our young backs over time, which is not give him the whole store, but spoon feed him a little bit, give him a little bit here, give him a little bit of this game plan, and as he gets better and more comfortable and more comprehensive in his knowledge and understanding, which he's a very diligent young man, we give him a little bit more. I think Cam Scarlett's doing really well. I think Cam's playing well. Cam's taking the load, and as we've done throughout the years with our main back who's carrying the load, we find ways to spell them with different guys. We'll spell them with Dorian Maddox here and there, and Austin Jones as well. So we'll continue to use Austin in special teams. We'll use Austin on the offensive side, and we'll have a nice package for him each week.
What were your takeaways
The running game was good, you know. Can't say great, but I would say good, and feel good about our performance in the running game. You know, the issue is it's 28-7 in the first quarter, and time becomes a factor, in particular against a team that can score very quickly. And so we had to try to score very quickly. So we weren't able to stick with it as long as we'd like to, but we continued to mix it in. I think we still had 2 or 3 explosive runs, you know, a couple by Cam and one by Austin Jones. So I like where we are up front, even with, I mean, the entire game we had minimum 2 freshmen on the field, and I think those guys comported themselves very well.
What was your take on the penalty that got Jovan ejected from the game, and then the roughing the passer call on Ryan Johnson?
So the call on Jovan was correct. It was a good call. It's a call that has to be made. The quarterback was in his slide, and Jovan was rushing from behind, and their helmets collided, and the quarterback's helmet came off. I mean, that's an automatic flag, and it's automatic ejection. They review it just to review it, but it has to happen. The roughing the passer I thought was unfortunate because it was called roughing the passer as opposed to calling targeting. So if it was just called targeting, then it could be reviewed and the targeting was taken off because it was not helmet contact. But the fact is roughing the passer is not reviewable. I thought that was close, a judgment call. I thought there were multiple hits on both quarterbacks that were exactly like that as the ball's released and the guy takes a step and hits him. That weren't called. I think our guys did that to their quarterback multiple times. They did that to our quarterback multiple times. So I didn't see that one as egregious. I didn't see that one as any different than the hits earlier in the game, but it's a judgment call.
Do you expect to have Branson Bragg available at some point this season?
Not sure. It's going to be a while, if it is a possibility. I think they're still seeing how his healing and progression is over the next couple of weeks or so, to see if there's something we need to do intervention-wise or to let it heal, which will be the big question there. And, you know, long-term wise, I'm so excited about what he did to go out there. I mean, he missed some training camp with being banged up. He missed the early in the season. So to kind of dress and play and start as a true freshman a couple games into the season without the full training camp and all the practices, I thought he played really, really well. So long-term wise, hopefully, I mean, short-term wise, for this season, it'd be great if he kept back later in the year, even if it's just for the bowl game. I think he's under that 4-game threshold, and maybe get a little bit more experience before we go into the offseason would be great.
I understand that Foster and Dylan Powell are working to get back, but has there been any discussion about what kind of emergency options exist in terms of playing guys on the offensive line, because it's now been 3 straight games of losing guys to injury?
We still have multiple guys. Like I said last week and the week before, we have more depth than we had last year. It's just that our depth is freshmen, right? We still have 3 more freshmen that if called into duty, they'll be ready to go. So we don't need to make any drastic changes right now. All the guys that have gone in and played well, they're still learning on the fly. But I'm excited about this young group. I think they're going to be really, really good in short time.
Talk about how Oregon has kind of improved and evolved over the last couple of years on the offensive and defensive lines.
Oh, gosh. Have they improved? I thought they were always good. Remember trying to block DeForest Buckner and all those guys. They do a great job and have continued to do a great job through 4 different head coaches of which we've tried to do something similar, which is recruiting length and speed. And these guys are long. Guys on the edge are long. Guys on the outside are fast. The guys on the interior defense line are thick and big. So I think they've done a great job recruiting to the way they want to play. Even with a new defense coordinator coming in this year, this personnel seems to fit his scheme very, very well. They move well. They're quick. They're physical. And the offense helps because it's always a great team game to where if your offense can get out and get you a lead, and now this defense gets to show their variety and they can play coverage, they can get after you, but they're able to have a little bit more freedom because of the offense that they play with. But yeah, their combination of size, length, and speed, it's impressive.
You've watched a lot of Justin Herbert, obviously, over the years. What sort of things pop out to you when you watch the film?
Well, first of all, I think he got some bad advice to come back to school. I think there are 11 other coaches in our conference that would say that. In all honesty, I love watching a kid play. He's got a sweet stroke. It's a very we call it a repeatable motion. It's very smooth throwing motion. Such a good athlete. Moves so well in the pocket, can escape the pocket. He throws a deep ball with ease. You can see why he's been so highly touted by all the NFL scouts, because it's not just, they want to see him win games. They want to see him do all those things and bounce back from adversity and all that stuff, the stuff they're all looking for. But you're also looking for the pure talent. He's got pure talent, and he's a great college quarterback. I think he's going to be a great quarterback at the next level also.
Just to go back, you mentioned the depth is better because of the freshmen who are available to play compared to what you experienced last year. So it is, as you said, it's getting better. I'm just curious about your thoughts on continuing to improve that depth chart at that position kind of going forward, because it's been a couple years now of being pretty thin.
Yeah, well, we had a kind of an unfortunate recruiting class one year to where we brought in Trey Stratford, and he's been injured. I mean, he would be providing such great depth inside, smart, athletic, could play any of the inside three positions, and if need be, could play tackles. What he played in high school. His injury status has been difficult on the depth there, because he was the one guy we brought in that year, and we're excited about him too, but he hasn't had a chance to play. We had another, 2 or 3 guys over the last couple of years that have either grad transferred or medically retired from football. So those are the things that you can't anticipate. And when you're at a high academic institution like this, you don't just dip into the transfer portal, because there's a high percentage of the guys in the transfer portal that need not even apply to get to school here. There's a small percentage of guys that could even have a chance. So where other teams are able to rebound quickly from early departures, et cetera, we can't. So for us, it's about recruiting. It's about developing our guys. I think like I said, I love this class here. We're making some really good inroads in the next 2 classes that I feel really good about. I'm very excited about, to make sure that we have the depth that we need. And then on top of that, when you recruit as well as we've recruited, you also have to anticipate you're going to lose 1 or 2 guys early, right? Walker's situation's changed now, but he was one of those that was looking like most likely he was could go be a first-round pick. So as you push and recruit and develop, you also have to say, okay, we're okay numbers-wise, but we may have a grad transfer and a guy leave early for the NFL, and if we get a guy hurt that's not going to stop play football, that's 3 spots that are hard to come up with. So for us, it's about managing that position. I think we're in a really good position right now. Both the freshmen we have now and the next 2 classes, we should be able to shore up, make sure we have the numbers that we need.
What's the ideal number that you want to have in that room?
A lot. And honestly, the number 15, 16, somewhere around there. We've also been pretty fortunate the last couple classes also to bring in some non-scholarship guys that are scholarship borderline, really close. So they're not just guys that are coming in just to help us with practice, but guys that are really competing to get on the field. I think I commend our coaches for looking for those guys also that are those guys that are they Division I? Gosh, they're really close, but you get them in, they get a couple of off seasons in, they get stronger, they learn what to do, and those guys can come in and help you. So, like I said, I think we're in a much better position now than we were a year ago, and I think we have a good plan going forward.
On the recruiting side as well, it seems like the one position that's maybe been the most affected by the early signing period has been the quarterback, with those guys committing early. Has there been anything going over just the past couple of years that's either forced you to more heavily evaluate and offer quarterbacks, or do you think, what has worked pre early signing period will continue to work with those?
Biggest lesson I've learned is quarterback recruiting is insane. It makes absolutely no sense. So for me and us, for Stanford, we have to find the right guy. I have a lot of discussions with a lot of people that some of them like to tell me what to do and how to do it because the way other people do it. I'm not a big fan of taking a quarterback in every class because I think you're inviting guys to transfer. Transfer is so easy now, and such an easy way to jump out and go someplace else, that I want those guys in that room to feel like, hey, I always have a shot here. We've done a good job of bringing in non-scholarship quarterbacks as depth, but at the same time, I think we're sitting here with 3 outstanding quarterbacks, anticipating KJ leaving after this year as a senior year, and bringing in Tanner McKee, who signed with us. So now bringing another quarterback, so we'll still be able to be at that 3 and still be competitive, but also each quarterback in the room also knows he's got a little bit of space. That, man, if I'm not starting, at least I know I have a chance. There's a guy ahead of me, or there's a gap between me and the guy ahead of me, or a gap between me and the guy behind me. I think it helps that quarterback room for all those guys to feel like they know that they have a chance, because the early commits, the number of guys transferring and hopping schools from school to school, it's ridiculous. So for me, it's about having a room that we know how many guys are in the room. And I say that, and I've had some conversations with other coaches where they say, yeah, I've got 5 guys in the room, but I think I really have 2 because I think 3 of them are about to jump ship, right? I like knowing how many guys I have in the room and that they're there for the right reasons. They're at Stanford for the right reasons, academically, socially, and they're on Stanford football team for the right reasons too, and they have an opportunity. They know they have an opportunity. They're going to have a shot. So I think that's healthy for that room.
3 games into the season, we're a quarter of the way through. What do you know about this team now that you might not necessarily have known coming in?
It's hard to answer that question generally, because there's some specifics that I don't think I would say right now. But I think I know our strengths a little bit better now than I knew going in, with so many guys that had great training camps that maybe are playing pretty well, not as great as we had hoped. But then some guys that I think, young guys in particular, that were learning, that showed promise, that we weren't sure if they're ready. And now we've played a couple games and say, these guys are ready. And as you talk about, and Austin Jones being able to play a little bit more, and Jonathan McGill playing a little bit more, and Caillou Kelly playing a little bit more, and there's multiple guys on special teams that are doing a really good job for us. Elijah Higgins, so we've got some younger guys that we weren't sure about if they were really ready, and guys have come to play. Bryson Tremaine has done a great job on special teams, coming and played some snaps on the offensive side. So it's still not completely formed in my mind, because I think we're continuing to compete every single day and every single practice and every single game. But I think we have a better idea of who those guys are that are going to play a lot for us and what roles they can perform in, which is what you always have when you have a lot of going to a season like this with some veterans that you know about, right? Costello and Hill and those guys that are going to perform at a level, and now other guys that are either ascending or maybe leveling off that we need to continue to push and help develop.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you all.
Connor Weddington.
So Connor, it seems like some plays have been out there in each game that you're just not clicking on offensively. How do you work to make those plays click? Because you only get a couple chances a game where things you draw up really play out the way you think they're going to. Is it frustrating, or is it just something you got to kind of work through and finally get one?
It is definitely frustrating. I mean, it is also a part of the game as well. I think practice is something that will make perfect, right? So practice makes perfect. So at the end of the day, just getting extra reps before practice, after practice is what's going to make all the things click at the end of the day.
Wondering about two tough weeks for you guys to deal with. What you've seen from the team in the team-only meetings, and also just on the practice field, responding to what you guys are trying to deal with.
Something we always embrace is how you respond to adversity. So obviously these past 2 weeks have not gone the way we have wanted them to go. And this week is, this is going to challenge us. This is how we have to react to this adversity right now. And yesterday's practice went very good, and we just got to keep that momentum going.
You talked about, just getting more reps in. I know you missed a lot of time last year. KJ missed a lot of time in training camp this year. How well do you feel like you've kind of gotten to build that connection with him, as a quarterback wide receiver combo?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, I mean, this goes back to my freshman year when I came in and playing. KJ wasn't the starter, and I was trying to be a starter, so that was the time where me and KJ had a lot of time to go and throw together, so we started to make that chemistry right away in my freshman year. Obviously, the injury last year affected it a lot because I was out the majority of the season, and then when I returned, KJ was out a lot of the time because he was battling his own injuries as well. But at the end of the day, KJ and I just got to continue to get more reps in practice, after practice, before practice, and the chemistry is going to just continue to get better.
What's the mood like among the guys right now?
You say the mood? We're a strong-willed team. We're Stanford. We pride ourselves in being intellectual, and so at the same time where we lost, like I said in the beginning, we pride ourselves in responding to adversity. So that's just something we got to do. We believe in each other. We believe in our team, and we know the work that we all put in.
Was there anything in particular that Coach Kennedy and the wide receivers you guys noticed after watching the film of the UCF game?
Yeah, I mean, there's things after every single game you'll notice. You'll see that you could have done this here or could have done that there, but in the span of seconds when the play's happening, a lot is going on. So there's corrections after every single game that we can make, and all we can do is find those corrections and make the best of them throughout the week and try to correct them.
What does Coach Kennedy and the receivers, yourself included, obviously, kind of identified as kind of goals moving forward in the short term of what you guys want to correct and what you want to see on the field this Saturday from that group?
One thing is, catch every football. There's some times where we've put balls on the ground, and as a receiving group, that's something we pride ourselves in not doing. We believe that we have a very strong receiver group and have depth at the receiver group, and the receiving core has worked extremely hard, and it's just something that we need to, go out and show that we can do. I think we have shown it, but we're also a young receiving group. We have a lot of room to grow, and we just got to get better every week.
Can you tell us a little bit about the community service project you're doing for homeless up in San Francisco, kind of where that idea came from and where it's going?
Yeah, so Hope Given By, this was something my buddy Zaylen Jacobson and I, we've kind of always been interested in doing. So it's actually started back in high school. Me and him would just go up into Seattle and give back to the homeless community. And we've both had a passion for giving back. This is something that has gone way back to ever since I was younger. And then so he was actually out here in San Francisco, and it was off season, and we were talking. We're like, how can we make an impact? And we were talking about how some homeless things that we would do in Seattle, and we just thought of Hope Given By. And we're like, okay, let's create a nonprofit organization that will address the immediate needs and rebuild that connection between between communities, and we just went full force. We're like, is this gonna work? I don't know, but it's worth a shot. We know that not trying isn't gonna do anything. So we went all in with it, and we ended up making a pretty good impact. I would say able to give out thousands of items away, have many conversations on the weekends, and we had over 35 people come out from multiple sports teams and organizations on campus.
And what's it meant to see that support from the other teams and organizations?
Huge. This is not a one-man thing. This help given by, there was many people that made this possible.
On that, wondering, with the with the type of student athletes that are on this campus and how it seems they are open to embracing really a number of interests, how do you think that's helped? I mean, have you been able to kind of bounce ideas off of your classmates and be able to count on them to support?
Yes, definitely. Stanford. I mean, it's Stanford. It's you get the best of the best, whether it's academics, business, sports. So it's just being around that atmosphere is definitely gonna help when in terms of building off of each other and finding new ideas.
You're a Pacific Northwest kid. Well, when you look at the opposite sideline and you see Oregon running around over there, is anything extra kind of go for you?
Yeah, I mean Oregon. It's a school I grew up always watching. You know, Washington as well, Washington State. Just being a Pacific Northwest kid, always watching those schools. But facing them, it's always, at the end of the day, it's just another game. It's just another game. But there is that little extra, little pride facing them.
Can you talk about being home now after being away for a couple of weeks? Students will be back. Hopefully there'll be a pretty good atmosphere. Maybe just talk about how that might be kind of a good seltzer for this team to kind of be back at home and maybe get the support you deserve and need.
Yeah, I think the sport playing home is going to be great. At the end of the day, whether we're home or away, we got to find a way to win.
Time for maybe one more question with Connor, if there's one.
So this game is also it's the third set the expectation game. Can you just talk about what that movement has done for the team and maybe some of the impacts that have come from that you've seen since Coach Tracy's met with you guys?
Yeah, for sure. Well, at the end of the day, we know as a Stanford football team, as the student athletes, we have a lot of influence. And if we're setting the right example and setting the expectation, then that can lead to have an impact on other people doing the same thing.
Thanks, Connor.
Thank you.
Open it up for questions for senior linebacker Jordan Fox.
Jordan, what has kind of stood out when the defenses watched the UCF game?
I would say first thing is limiting the big plays as a whole. Giving up too many plays, too many big plays, chunk plays to end up for them scoring. Struggling in the red zone defense, but definitely the chunk plays as a defense we've been seeing on film.
When you look at those chunk plays, I guess specifically against UCF, how many of those were sort of missed assignments or during the play versus kind of like misalignment and sort of something pre-play that?
Yeah. I would say it's from top to bottom. Definitely starting with the defensive line, outside linebackers, one, getting after the quarterback, affecting him, the two freshmen these past 2 weeks, and then rerouting guys from the linebacker level, getting on wide receivers, whether it be getting out in coverage, and then in the back end, being in the right position to help the DBs make a play. So I would say it's definitely all three phases. One, getting after the quarterback, us rerouting at the linebacker position, and then DBs being in the right position to make a play.
As far as pass rush, Coach Shaw was saying there's a lot that goes into it, but kind of a bottom line was our guys have to beat their guys. Wondering your thoughts on that and what you've seen in terms of being able to beat linemen to get to the quarterback.
Yeah, we're going to have one-on-one matchups. Not every ball is going to come out quick game. They're going to have, their play action, their shot throws, and when we have those opportunities, we got to win on one-on-one matchups up front, pass rush, everything, so we can affect the quarterback.
How did UCF's offense compare to some of the best ones you've seen over the, your time here at Stanford?
Seeing that this game was scheduled 5 years ago, and UCF was on the schedule this year, watching their film, we knew like the first 2 weeks, I mean, they're a high-powered offense, score a lot of points, was winning 45, 60, 60-something points in the first game. So we knew what they were capable of. It was really just how we were going to limit that and stop that and really play our style of defense. But we knew that coming into the game, how high-powered their offense was.
What's it going to take to beat Oregon? What's going to happen for this team to surprise Oregon?
I would say it starts from this week. We got to have a great week of practice. Get back to doing what we do. Focus on us. We'll be critical of the film of what we watched this past week, but really grind on what we need to do to get better as a team, as a defense, all three phases of the game. Special teams, win the field position game, have a great red zone defense, get after the quarterback, have sacks, make plays when the ball's in the air, offense, firing in all cylinders. So it'll be a good team opportunity, but yeah, we got to do what we do and get back to playing our style of football.
From your perspective and from your position, what sort of challenges does the Oregon offensive scheme pose to you?
I mean, we know they have speed. They have Justin Herbert back there, 6'6" quarterback that if we don't get after, we'll sit back there and be poised and ready to throw the ball. But the running backs, everybody's talking about their offensive line and how highly touted they are. So stopping the run, and then after third down, getting after the passer. But we know the speed that they have in the slot, wide receivers, top to bottom. But yeah, I would say slowing down 10 first.
Next, could you go into a little more about what makes him so good and what you're interested in as a quarterback?
Yeah, I would say he has a good arm. I mean, he can throw the ball 45 yards on the rope to his receiver and makes plays with his feet when he has to. I wouldn't say he likes to do that, but he can. He's an athletic quarterback, and he knows the timing with his wide receivers well. He plays the scheme that Oregon's offense and their offensive coordinator brought in there, plays it really well. So, I mean, he's experienced now. He's got the whole offense underneath his belt, and he's firing on all cylinders.
What do you remember from last year's game?
Overtime win for us, but it was crazy. Hostile environment playing up in there in Oregon. Had to fight, scratch and crawl. Had 2 big turnovers at the end of the game. Joey Alfieri, Noah Williams with a forced fumble. But it was a hard-fought battle. I mean, it was a fun game and just a great win for us as a team. So I don't know, it was a good one. Definitely a good one.